Okay, let's try that again. Can you guys hear me now? Is there any echo going on? Hey, my coding family, how's everybody doing? Yay. Can you guys hear me and see our starting screen? Yay, awesome. Thanks, Twinkle. Starting a little early today. This week is crazy. Tomorrow is my IT director's birthday. And then Wednesday is Travis's last football game to cheer. And then Thursday is Halloween. So Friday will be my next live that we'll be able to do. And then Saturday, and we might have to do it Friday. I'm not sure. There's a convention, a sorcery convention for sorcery wizards going on this weekend in Las Vegas. My IT director and James are going to that convention. It's like Pokemon cards, but it's sorcery for wizards. I don't know. There's some sort of really fancy artist that designed the cards, and their second batch of cards are coming out, and they're doing a Vegas convention. John and James are going, and I'm going to go on Saturday to get John's car tinted in this because we're melting inside his car because it's all glass everywhere. So while they're at the convention, I've got to go get the tint done. But that means the only time that I can do lives this week is today, Friday, I think. I've already got a link put up for Friday, and then it will be Sunday before I'm able to do the third one. So sorry for the change up, but the holidays and the fall season are always crazy with kids' sports and other things going on. James is going camping the next weekend to Camp Wicca Wacka, whatever, in the bottom of Arizona somewhere. I'm not sure where, but they're leaving on Saturday. They'll come back on a Monday. I was going to try to get a cabin down there and be a helicopter mom and be really close, but I don't think I'm going to be able to do that between the tent and everything else. And we have a new project. We've got somebody who has not been able to pass their certification exam. She's taken it 6 times. I saw her defeated post on Facebook, so I've decided to try my best to help her get 2 more attempts. So I'm saving some money, some $500, so that I can pay for her next 2 attempts. So I need to save some finances for that right now. So I think I'll let poor James, he'll be my first one to have ever gone on a field trip without me going around and being there, at least in the area, even if I can't attend the event, because sometimes they don't allow parents to go near places. I'm in the area if there's an emergency. But this may be the first time one of my kids ever goes off without me. So I'm a little nervous about that for next weekend. But we'll deal with that when it gets here. So far, this weekend sounds like it's going to be fun. We're going to meet the artist that designed the cards for this sorcery card event. I'm not sure. But that's kind of cool that you get to meet the artist and maybe they could sign your cards. There'll be a bunch of tournaments going on. The boys won't be participating in the tournaments. They just want to watch and see and visit. But it sounds fun. James gets to go for free because he's a minor, so that's nice. And I won't go at all. I'll just, let them 2 go. That's what's going on in my neck of the woods. You guys tell me what is going on in your neck of the woods. When is your next exam attempt? If anybody has any 2024 ICD-10 or a HIP picks, I have a CPT book. I can send that girl who did not pass. She has the 2023 books. So I want to try to find her 2024 books in case she can't and is not ready to take the 2 more attempts that I buy her by the end of the year. I want to get her at least 2024 books. I do have an extra CPT book I can send her, but if anybody has a HipPix or an ICD-10 that is a 2024 that they would love to help donate to this lady, that would be awesome. Scullery Maid, November 23rd. Awesome. Hey, Fagan. Hey, Katie. Can hear and can see the screen. Great. Hello, everyone. I'm sending greetings from... Oh, yeah. I remember you, Sam. How are you doing? I'm on early enough for you to get on. Hey, Barbara, how's it going? Hey, I have a question about CPCA. It just seems like one more cost after another. So I signed up for an AAPC Practicode. Beyond that, what else do I need to do? Get another certification, Barbara, would be the best thing. Either a CPMA or a CRC. And you will be a step ahead of everybody else who is out there trying to apply for a job. Since you do have Practicode, if you have trouble with Practicode, let me see if I can't figure this out real quick. Nope, not that one. This one? Oh yeah, my computer crashed right before this live, so I had everything closed. Okay, where is Discord? And where's our room? And let me... There we go. Not that one. Where's the Discord? All right. That's not helpful. I'm trying. I want to show you something that might help. So bear with me for just a minute. There we go. That's working. But that's not what I want to show you. I want to show you Discord right there. If I can. Why are you way up there? Okay. There we go. There's our Discord group. So if you do join our Discord group, we have a room called Practicode right there. There's a mermaid lady and several other people that are doing Discord, doing Practicode. And if you have issues trying to get through it, message people in here and see if you can't get some help. There's even an audio room down here where there's a voice room where you guys can go in and just turn on your mics. And then y'all can have a conversation like y'all are on a 3-way phone call or something like that. It's really cool. But there's a lot of people in here that have already done Practicode, all of it. And if you need advice, help, come to this room. My main thing is just copy whatever the first example is, the first sentence in that example, paste it into a Google search, and then find the answers on Quizlet. I'm sure Quizlet has tons of people that have posted the cases with the answers. Just get through it. Don't pull your hair out trying to learn everything that's going on there. It's going to drive you insane. And just try to get through it is my advice, since you've paid for it. The other thing that I was saying was get a second certification. I've got a ton of help for you guys that are doing CRC and CPMA. So if you could get a second certificate, that would be awesome. It will really impact the way you look on a resume. Also, let me show you here. If you guys are on my website, y'all know this is my website. You know that I've got 2 pink pills here now. One of them is my Amazon list. So if you want to know what chair do I use, what pens do I use, what do I use to hold my books, all that stuff is there. Pocky Prep is the second shaky pill. But underneath the resources, under FAQs, for anybody that already has their CPC and they want their resume to turn out to looking the best possible, come down to the 3rd sentence where it says, where is your best list of free resources? Click that button. You'll get a drop-down menu. Pick this one right here that says CMS free certification. Click that link. It'll take you to CMS Gov. And what you're looking for is the MLN web-based training. Wonderful little site. They do change out their courses from time to time, but what I would recommend for everybody to do is like the CMS forms. Just wait. Also do the World of Medicare is a great one. Also do the ICD-10 course. Great little course right there. And then always do the fraud and abuse course. I see. Let me refresh this and see why it's being silly. If you do the fraud and abuse course, this will put you a step ahead. There's 2 of them. Do them both for all jobs, because no matter what, when you get a job in the medical field, you have to have this training, whether HR department does it in-house or they send you to this website and get you to take this course. You have to do it if you're going to be in a patient's chart. It's mandatory. So you could be a step ahead. These are super easy courses. They're unlimited times taking. They don't take any social media. Like, there's no email or address. They're not going to stalk you. They're not going to track you. You could do this 15 times in a row and fail it every single time. No one's going to care. And you could, as long as you pass, you'll get a certificate with your name on it that says you did pass with the date on it. You could add that to your resume, and you will be a step ahead of the hiring process because they don't have to send you for fraud and abuse training. So those 2 are the most important ones, but there is always, they switch these courses out. A lot of these are super cool to even have. So even anybody that is not looking for a job yet, that diagnosis coding one is back to the basics. How do you look up codes in the book? You know, if your questions weren't fill in the blank and you wanted to know how do I look up the code, there you go. There's your course on it from CMS. So super handy dandy. That again is on my website under the tab resources, under the tab heading FAQs. third sentence down, and it's where is your best list of free resources. So that will help a whole bunch. If you are going to get your second certification and you wanted to do CRC, I'd recommend you getting my bonus practice CRC membership. It's like $8. It'll get you access to this page. It has over 500 practice exam questions, and then all these bonus PDFs that you can instantly download that will tell you everything about CRC. A lot of good information on this page, a lot of bonus information. CRC is only your diagnosis code book, so you only need one manual to study and learn. So CRC is great. It's one of the major things that all medical groups are looking to hire. If you wanted to do CPMA, the two things that will help you out the most with that is the replay workshop for CPMA. It's right here, the 728 workshop. Purchase that. It will show you how to do the cases at the end of that exam. You'll have like 35 cases. Each case will have 2 to 5 questions per case. You know, is there a missing MD signature? Is there the right modifier used? That kind of stuff. So this video shows you how to handle those cases the fastest, most efficient way possible without reading the patient's chart. And then the other thing that is handy is the CPMA study guide that I made. You can do just a search for it on my website and it'll bring it up. There's the CPMA work study guide. It's right next to it right there. So get that study guide. It shows you exactly what to write inside your CPT book. It shows you a copy of my notes and what I had written in my book. And then I've also typed it out, so in case you can't read my notes, you've got it typed out so you can just copy it and put it in your book. So with those two things, you could pass the CPMA. And then for the CRC, it's a little cheaper because all you need is that membership for the risk adjustment area. So that's it. But highly recommend getting 2 certificates. I know it's costly, but yeah, super helpful to have 2 certificates for the job market. Don't forget, inside our Discord study group. Oh my God, James, what?
Why do my knees hurt so bad?
Why do your knees hurt so bad? Because you rode a bicycle for the first time in years yesterday. And you want to know today,
No, I'm saying, like,
why does your knee hurt in front of everybody while I'm teaching a class?
Like, don't I have like too much iron or something?
Don't you have too much
I
iron?
make too much iron or something?
I'm not certain. I don't remember what it said on your genetics, but yes, you have
And that's like bad
more
for your
joint
or something?
issues as you get older. I doubt they meant when you're 15, lovely year-old
My knees
child.
always hurt.
I know your knees always hurt. You need to exercise, keep your diet under control. Yeah. And go take your Advil. Yep. If it's above your neck, you take Tylenol. If it's below your neck, you take Advil.
Yeah, can I get a remote? I'll take a shower.
Maybe after you get done.
Well, since I'm already bothering you, I don't want
No, you can come bother me again. Don't forget, today is garbage day. You got to go change all the cat litter boxes and put new bags in, okay? Sorry about that, guys. Where was I at? I was trying, I think, to show you something in Discord again, but I've lost my train of thought. I have no idea what I was trying to show you in Discord. Maybe how to get rid of your apprenticeship. You can search for that kind of information in our Discord group. It has a search feature too, which is super helpful. But let's get back over to our practice questions for today. And you guys let me know if you have any other questions. Are any codes bothering you guys? Hope that helps out, Barbara. You like the new time go-kart? Lord. Lashley, did I answer a question for you today? Go-kart, you have an old 20, you've got 2024 books? They are expensive, yeah. Sometimes they are. You only have the 2023. Be sure to check my Discord group. We have a room inside there where people are selling their books. So there may be some options in there too. Can you give me the other certifications again? Yes. So I like, where are we at? Ooh, I got the wrong page up. Hold on. Word. No. I'm on the wrong page. You guys are not. Okay. Right here. Yeah. CRC or CPMA. Those two. No questions. Okay. Let's see. We've got 28 of you guys on. We got 11 likes so far. I'm also going to need, unfortunately, to not give out free access to my YouTube channel. You know how I give away 5 every time I go live? I need to save that $26 that I would send to YouTube because I'm trying to squirrel away $500 for my little friend on Facebook who has not passed in her 6 attempts, and I'm trying to buy her 2 more attempts. So hopefully I can get that saved in the next 2 weeks, and then I can go back to giving away the free YouTube membership. So sorry to disappoint right there, but I'm just trying to save, trying to make sure I got bills paid, but also helping her too. So she's our little priority for right now. Sorry. All right. Let's bring up our first little practice question for tonight. I know you guys are going to ace this question because I've been drilling Mohs surgeries like crazy. So I know you guys are going to know this one. You guys let me know in chat what you guys think the answer is. Oh, Lashley said she couldn't hear me, but I hope she can now. Okay. Hey, Tasha, good to see you. Hey, Lovey, good to see you. I'll be working for 3 months just to pay off all the courses. Aw. It's like taxes. Oh my gosh. Hopefully you could do these certifications without the courses. That's how I did it. And that's what I recommend. You don't need the course. All you need is the study guide and the practice exam questions. And a few little things from me, and that's it. Hopefully, hopefully. Do not spend $1,000 or $3,000 or $11,000 on a CRC or CPMA course. Don't do that. Thanks, Lashley. I just feel bad. I wish I was, win the lotto here and everything would be free for everybody and I would just keep buying everybody exam attempts. Yes, good to see Sam. Perfect. Everybody's got C. Anybody have questions on this? The first thing you do is we know right away that 12 cannot be an answer, right? That code cannot be the only answer. It's not an add-on code, but it's a code. Well, I guess it is. 12 is an add-on code. Yep. So you know right away it cannot be the correct answer. So we can get rid of D. And then the difference between...
Charlotte Horowitz has become a member.
Aw, thank you, Charlotte. That, your monthly subscription for the YouTube channel will definitely help me help our friend on Facebook to help purchase her exam attempts. Thank you so much. The 13 and the 11, the differences between those are just body parts, right? 13 is easier to look at because it's just trunk, arms, and legs. And if we're not there, then you know it has to be 11. And then we just need to know, did we go back to the body twice, or did we only do one stage? Did we only go the body one time? And we only had one stage, so we know that C is the answer. Good job. Anybody have questions on Mohs before we go on? I didn't have any extra questions on this area, but if you guys got a good grasp on it, I'll move on. But if you guys want to do some more on it, then we can do some more on it because I love this subject. But it will be on your exam. You're taking your exam tomorrow. You're very nervous. Did I know that? Did I know that? So you know you're going to have a Mohs tomorrow, right? You know you're going to have one. So tomorrow, your example is most likely going to be like this. I'll get this formatted right in just a second, but I'm just trying to create this off the top of my head. Do y'all want A, B, C, or D? Or do you want to answer it without it? You guys let me know in chat. Do I say it Nadia? Nadia? Is that correct? I have really bad phonics skills. I'm new here and I'm excited and grateful for all the info you share here. Oh, thank you, ML. You're awesome. Sherry wants A, B, C, or D. Okay. Okay, give me a minute to finish the A, B, C, or D. Because I'm not done with them yet, of course. So it'll take me a minute to create them off the top of my head. Oh my God, I hate auto formatting. Stop it. Stop it, stop it, stop it, stop it. I mean, if you're going to put one over there, put them all over there. Let's see. Okay, guys. What do you guys think is the answer? Yay, I did pronounce it right. So the first thing you do when you're doing this type of question is look at your answers first. What is the fastest way to figure out what your answer is? For this question, we have two answers that start off with a 3. That's the last digit of the code, right? And then two answers that start off with the 1. What's my differences between those two codes? The 173 111 and the 17313 are just body parts. That's the only difference. The 3 is easier to do because it is just the trunk, arms, and legs. We are on the arm, so we know 11 cannot be our answer no matter what. So we can get rid of A and C, right? Now it's just a difference between B and D. They both have 14 in them. One of them has a 15 and one of them does not. There's two ways about going about doing this. One way is don't verify that the answer is correct. So if you do your answer based off your 14 number, then when you figure out if it's this 14 or that 14, then you walk away from the question, whatever the answer is. Don't verify if you do need the 15 or not, because the only difference between B and D is whether we times our 14 times 2 or if we add the 15 to it. Do it the fastest and most efficient way possible. The easiest route is just to look for the numbers that are all your blocks. These numbers are never added together, but if one of them happens to be over the number 5 without adding anything, then you know you're required to add the code 15. So out of B and D, you know that D is your answer. You can move on with your question. You don't need to verify that the 14 is times 2, but I'll show you why that is correct. So every time you go back to the body and you cut something off and you turn it into blocks, all you're doing is going back to the body, cutting flesh off, and then you're taking that flesh and you're slicing it and putting it on microscope slides. Slides are what those blocks are. It's just their fancy word for it. But every time you go back to the body is the whole point of all this. The first time you go to the body and cut something off, you can have up to 5 microscope slides from that. That is where your 11 and 13 come into play. If you go back to the body and you cut something else off again and make more blocks, that's where your 12 and 14 come into play. And that's where the second code is. And it also includes 5 blocks of slides. Now, we did go back to the body a third time and we cut off more and we made more blocks. That's where the times 2 comes in, is that we did 5 more blocks and cut something else off. So now we have 15 blocks, potentially, right? One of our microscope slides situations for the skin that we removed ended up being a higher number than the number 5, so we did get to add our 15. There are other things in this example that, like the 11, will never ever be coded with the 14. The 11 can only go with the 12. Same thing for the 13. It can only go to the 14. It could never be going with the 12. So if you ever see those numbers like this, you'll know without looking at the question that C and A were coding irregularities anyway. They weren't anything that you could have done this question without even looking basically at anything except for the numbers. If you knew that one particular guideline, that the 11 and 14 don't go together, without looking at one word from the question, You would have known your answer has to be B or D. You just looked up here, looked at your numbers, saw 2 4s and then the 1 6. That 1 6, you know you have to add the 15. So right away, without doing anything else other than looking at that number 6, you could have picked D and move on to your next question. You need to do these the fastest, most efficient way possible. You only have 120 seconds. And if you're doing the questions without looking at the answers and looking for coding irregularities, and you're just going to run to every code and go, what is 11, what is 13, and you're looking at the code descriptors, you're doing yourself a disadvantage by not learning a few little things that will definitely help you. Even if you needed to look at the 11 and the 13, before you read your header or your CPT code descriptors and your header descriptors, which are the blue, black, and red headers before these codes, you should look at your do nots. And that's why I have you guys go through the entire book and you underline every do not so that you remember, right, to go look. Super helpful in this situation to have those kind of things noted next to these codes so that you can quickly eliminate things and don't even have to read the CPT code descriptors, and you don't have to read the question at all. Anyway, this particular example where they went back to the body 3 times is a known situation on the certification exam. That's why I wanted you guys to see the ×2 in the middle like that, so it wouldn't come as a shock to you if you have that question tomorrow. All right. Now, if I didn't put everybody to sleep, so Fagin, it's ×2 because we went to the body 3 times. Yeah, we can do another Mohs. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Indeed, C is correct. All right. Let me switch this up. Let's change all the answers to 11 so you won't know. Let's change all of these to times. Yeah, let's do something like that. And let me do a 4, 017, 315 times 3. How about 17315 times 2. All right, and let me change our question to make one of these right. All right, guys. Now what's the answer? Extremely difficult question. Don't feel bad if you have no idea, but try your best, see what you get. This type of situation I would expect to see on a CIC or COC exam, not CPC, but if you can do this, you can do anything that they throw at you tomorrow. Miss Mabel, I wish I could call on you and have you explain to the class how you come up with your answer. But very cool. So Mabel knows something that's very unique with our 15 code. You remember how I told you that the 11 includes 5 blocks. The 14 will include 5 blocks. And if you times it by 3, it includes another 5 blocks, right? And then another 5 blocks. 15 only includes 1 microscope slide, and it is an each. It does not include another 5 blocks. It's a different kind of code unique to these Mohs surgeries. So when you put 15 here, that means it took care of the 1 that was over the 6 right here, right? That's why we did this in our original answer. That's why it was just a plain 15. If I had done 7, we would have times it by 2 because you subtract 5 from 7 and you get 2 remaining. In this example, we'll do the same thing, but we'll move 5 away from both, right? That leaves 1 plus 2. That equals we have 3. That's how we know how many times we are going to do our 15. Just because our tissue blocks did not equal up to the number 5 doesn't mean we take anything away from these codes. I know we didn't make 5 in a lot of these scenarios. Don't worry about that. The only number we worry about is any numbers over the number 5. Now, sometimes on the CPC exam, they will just make this the only available answer, and they won't make you do the times 3 on the 15. But it'll be clear that none of the other answers have a 15 in it. It'll be clear that that is the correct answer. Don't expect to see them multiply the times 3 on the 15 in every one of their scenarios. Like if you were really coding this in real life, of course the answer is B. But it might show up on the exam as answer D, but there would never be an option for any of the timeses at the end, if that makes any sense. I don't know. I'm probably just trying to, probably just confusing the heck out of you guys. But don't be surprised if you don't see the timeses in a CPC exam on the 15 code. You will see it on the 14 or the 12, where they're counting how many times you go to the body, and that's how you come up with these numbers. But for some reason, they're not always consistent on the 15 number. But for technical purposes, Yes, B is the correct answer. Does that make sense why B is the correct answer? Or do you need me to explain it again? Yeah, we're still on the arm. The MD removes tissue from the right arm that results in 4 blocks. Additionally, the MD removes tissue from the adjacent area, that's just around the area, right? Resulting in 4 more blocks. Noting the margins are still not clear. And the MD performs another excision of 6 blocks, and then the last excision is 7 more blocks.
Nick Step has become a member.
Thank you so much, Nick. I hope those bonus videos help out a whole bunch. I released 2 new workshops yesterday or the day before, so you've got 2 more 3-hour videos full of 75 questions each of practice exam questions that are most likely contain some of the content that is usually quizzed on the certification exam. It's great because there's not a lot of talking, not a lot of explaining. It's just a question and here's the answer, so that you can go quickly through those videos and see if you can't stay in the same pace as me and do 75 questions in 3 hours. If you can do that, and you get about 90% of those questions correct, then you know you're ready for the exam. There's also a podcast where you're listening to me read out the guidelines in the ICD-10 book or the E&M section of the CPT book, and then telling you what it means in layman's terms, how that applies to the exam. There's also duck classes where we have longer in-depth classes that are 2 hours long over advanced questions that have mystery, hidden information inside the question that we don't normally look for, that make those questions very tricky and very almost impossible to get correct during the certification exam. So those duck classes are great resources. If you are like 1 point away from passing the certification exam, those are great reviews. C was the answer for that question right there. Here's you guys a question. Don't freak out when you see it. Use your modifiers, because if you don't need that modifier, then you can eliminate that answer, right? If you do need it, then you know what your answer is. That may help you out a whole bunch. What is 58? That's staged. 51 is multiple procedures. Do I need those modifiers? In this scenario, that could help you quickly eliminate a lot of answers. I know you'll be disappointed, Mabel, if you don't have one of those on your certification exam. You're like, I was all prepared for this, and I got all these other crazy integumentary things to do, and not one Mohs surgery or Mohs. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? Patient previous history is going to tell you exactly what? That this is staged, right? So you know right away you're going to need your 58 modifier. So you can eliminate one of the answers right away. Do I need the 51 modifier and the 58? Do I need the 58 on both codes? I don't have to look up the codes. They're in every single answer. The same diagnosis code is there too. You just need to know, do I need a 58 on both of the codes? If you do, then that even eliminates more stuff than if you need the 51 modifier or not. This is just a modifier question. Today we did this and that, and all of this and that is a result of a previous history. So this and that we did today is all staged. So we need that 58 modifier on both of them, correct? And since we did do two separate CPT codes, right? We need to let the insurance company know that they are multiple separate procedures, right? We dropped our instruments, moved to a different area, did something else, right? Two different surgeries, multiple. So we would need our 51 modifier. So you know your answer is C with this one. You need your 58 on both, and then you need to let them know that it is multiple procedures. They are distinct. Sort of, kind of. Don't freak out when you see all these codes either. Are we a 40 or are we a 41? That's the first thing to think about, right? Also, we do have the 51 modifier. Would we need that again? Every answer has a 40 or a 41 in it. Then down here it has the same codes listed all the way down. So technically, you know, you don't have to look that up. You know it's there because it's on every one. And then we need to know, are we a 43 or a 44? If we were all three of these codes, would we only need one of them needing a modifier 51? Would one of them need a modifier 51 and a 59? Another just modifier question, really, but there is a little part where you're looking at the differences between the 40 and the 41, or the 44 and the 43. We're doing a lesion, excision, we're doing a rotation flap, and we are doing a full thickness graft. Yep, we needed those modifiers. Do we need them on this example too? Cool. If you're looking for similarities too, of course, I love noting that all of these are all the same, right? Now you just need to know about modifiers. What would you have to tell the insurance company, right? Would we have a 51 on the tail end? Would we have a 51 on the second one and a 59 on the third one? Would we have a 51 on the second one? And we don't need to say anything about the third code. Would our first code be without a modifier? Our second code require a modifier, and our third code require a modifier? Is that a normal sequence that you normally see on the exam or practice questions? Oh, I need to move this one to my website. Do have some differences in your diagnoses if this is just too overwhelming and you can't decide. It's really cool that your diagnoses are all different, so you can give up and just go here and look at your differences between your 311, your 310, and your 319 and pick out your answer. But B is your right answer. And just knowing that that pattern, the first code is without a modifier, the second code gets a modifier, and so does the third, is handy to know. Write that in your CPT book near your 15240 code. Super handy dandy. There's a whole lot of rationale with that one, just in case you ever want to come back and read all that. Alright, musculoskeletal. We've got the same codes all the way down. It's just a difference between modifiers. Do we need LTs? Do we need the 51s? There are some slight differences in some of the diagnosis code ones. Maybe that might be helpful, but 3 of them have the same answer. For some reason one of them doesn't. Why I've got that underlined, I have no idea. Would we have, does this need the LT? 3 of the answers do have LT in it. And would our second code require a modifier or not? Is it an add-on code? No. What would you write down? So lastly, what I would write down is that answer with the diagnosis, right? And I would put down that you did a full thickness graft, excision, and a rotation flap. I would write down the same answer near your 14s and the same answer near your 116s. You did a full thickness free graft, a rotation flap, and 2 excisions. Add in those diagnosis codes. You could go to those diagnosis codes, the C44s, write the example again next to both those ICD-10 codes with the CPT codes listed there and the modifiers. More times you write this, the more familiar with the patterns you will get, right? You'll remember that one code is by itself, one code has a modifier, the last code has one too. These little patterns you'll start noticing, and then you'll see the differences when you are looking at your available answers during your exam, that, you know, what doesn't look like the normal pattern that you've written, what, 3 or 4 times in your manuals. I go to every single code and rewrite the example again. This one we're just going to write Colley's fracture with an inter whatever fracture. We're going to write both those two words down. And then what was the answer? And what was the diagnosis code? I'll go to the diagnosis code, write those two fractures down, and put the CPT codes next to it too, with the modifiers. And I'll rewrite it again next to both CPT codes. Just something quick, just the bare minimum. What was I dealing with? That way, when you're looking at these available answers, you've got examples written in your book. You had 2 types of fractures. What did they do? Which one needed the modifier? Which one didn't need it? (20690) is applying an external fixation system. Does that need a modifier? Definitely can't put bilateral on it or something like that. Usually it's just the one code, right? Still don't see a correct answer, so what is our 51 modifier? That is multiple procedures. And then so what did we do? We did a closed reduction, which means we popped a bone back in place at a Colley's fracture, right? We also confirmed a commuted fracture also on that same arm, right? We've got 2 different fractures on the same left arm. We took care of 2 fractures in the same arm. The doctor needs to get paid for their time for doing 2 fractures in one arm. So this code, right, needs to show that we did 2 bones that were fractured, right? Because these 2 bones fractures are in 2 different areas, right? So we're not just going to put left and leave it alone, right? We're going to say multiple procedures because we have multiple bones that were broken in that one arm, right? And then we just put a fixation device on that one arm to position it and keep it steady so it doesn't move around, right? So it did not need, because that one fixational device will hold both fractures in place, it doesn't require the multiple procedure modifier. But this fracture, these fractures, require the multiple procedures because we've got 2 bones in that one arm that we're dealt with. Very tricky question. That's why C is the answer for that one. Every single answer has this 3, 12, 59 in it. Some of the answers have a 50 modifier, some do not. Every single answer has the 6, 7. Sometimes it has no modifier. Sometimes it has a 50 or a 51 modifier. So our differences: 50 is bilateral, 51 is multiple procedures. What did we do? We're dealing with the sinuses. Definitely an ethmoidectomy, some sort of maxillary, splendoid, don't know, kind of surgery will definitely be on your certification exam tomorrow, most definitely. If you did 3 of the sinuses bilaterally, what are you doing with these modifiers? Everybody's going to get the bilateral modifier. That's the easiest part, right? You've got 2 procedures done, and they're both need to be done bilaterally, right? And then you need to let the insurance company know that the second procedure was intended to be a second procedure, right? You are really intending on, and you did do a maxillary and whatever this is, and then you also did the removal in the ethmoid, and then you did a removal in the maxillary too of those polyps and stuff, right? Indeed, you got it. C is the answer. Perfect. Good job. This goes on for 2 pages. All right, your brain's fried yet? More modifiers. You probably could do this easier by knowing the differences between your modifiers. I usually just pick 2 at a time and start out like the top and work my way down. 78 and 58, what's my differences? Unplanned and then staged. I'll check my question for those key terms. If I'm not there, then I'll move down and do the other 2. 76 and 57. 76 is repeat and 57 is decision for surgery. feel bad about not sending out YouTube memberships, but I hope you guys understand we're saving. We're going to be donating some money to somebody who's taken their exam 6 times. So, and AAPC keeps going up and up and up on their certification exam attempts. It's over $500 now. Ridiculous for 2 attempts, but it is what it is. So, hopefully, her membership also ends December 31st, so I'm trying to get her a grant approved that'll pay for her membership also, and she needs new books, so we are squirreling away to help her get some more attempts. What do you guys think is the answer for this one? We've got 2 of them with the same diagnosis code. James, what are you doing? What you up to? I hear you popping.
Oh, that's my mouth.
I know. What are you doing with your mouth?
Can I get my mouth?
Yeah, I found it today.
Oh my god. Is it really that loud?
Yes, it's really that loud. Did you sweep in front of the cat boxes after you changed them?
Yeah.
You better have.
They came in your room and swept them.
I'm just making sure you did it in front of all 3 of them. Child. Argue with a wall for no reason.
Wait, did you take the power cord?
No, it's just unplugged because I couldn't get it to turn off last night. I couldn't find the remote. So you just need to plug it back up. It's still plugged into the outlet. You just got to plug it into the back of the TV. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. Good to see you. Yeah, and then having to move all those notes over from 2023 into a 2024 book. Yes, let's all pass before we have to update those books. Everybody got A with this one? It is not C this time. A was our answer. Good job. Perfect. No modifiers, just a CPT skill. Make sure your header is cleared before you do the CPT code descriptors. Like your 475s might have a red body part or a blue header difference than your 7.6s. James, I've already asked you. So your 4.76s might be in a different body part. So those, check the headers before you look at your individual CPT code descriptors. Pick 2, go look at their header. Then come back and check your questions. See if you are doing something in that particular area. You might be able to eliminate something quickly and move on to the next set of 2 codes. If you are there, that's when you're going to look up your differences between those 2 codes. Four, 7, 5. Six, 4, and 6, 3. What header are they under? We're under scope, but what body part? We're underneath the biliary tract. Did we do something on the biliary tract for the 7605s? We're also under biliary, but The 05 and 10 are under excision, where the 7, 5, 6, 4, and 6, 3 are under scope. Did we cut a person open with a scalpel and not use a scope? Is our differences. A and D are excisions without a scope, where we cut open a body, we look at it with our eyes, and we go in, right? The other two, the B and C, we used a camera. We went into the body from small, tiny little pokes. We used a camera, and we did stuff to the body that way. That's what I mean by not looking up the CPT code descriptors. We need to look at the headers first, those blue headers. Then you can eliminate 2 answers right away, and you never looked at a CPT code descriptor. Sometimes you may start some of these procedures with a scope, so be very careful. Check your bottom, make sure, or the middle, to make sure that the physician did not stop the procedure, decide that they could not do it laparoscopically, and change their mind and went with a scalpel and did an incision. Sometimes that'll happen on the CPC exam, so just be careful. If you see down at the bottom that they used Vicryl or suturing technique of any sort, then you know there was an excision more than just a scope that they ended up having to switch. A lot of times if they talk about that 4.0, you know, at the bottom where they use something to stitch the body, you'll know that they ended up switching the procedure into a excision. When you do that, even though you plan to do a scope and you did use a scope and get into the body, you don't bill for that. You're going to bill for what you eventually ended up doing, right? You're going to bill for the excision. But this question, I don't see anything that says 4.0. I don't see about them talking about any type of suture techniques. So we can assume they stayed underneath the scope. So you get rid of the excision codes, which is A and D. Those you did not do. Now you get to look up your differences between the code descriptors of the 64 and the 63. Did I do a removal and a gram, or did I do a removal with an explore? And because you see the word gram in here, you don't even have to look for an explore, because you know the other code does not have the gram in it. Anyway, so this one is just the 63 that has the gram in it. They're of course going to have the word duck in here a bunch of times, trying to confuse you and make you think that this one is going to be the 64. They're going to say the word duck a million times. There's 2. They probably said it even more than that, I would assume. A lot of times they'll say it 3 times in the question, trying to make you think that you're doing a 64. But stay focused. What did we do? We did a gram and we did a scope. You know that the 63 is the only one that has the gram in it. There's a code on this page where we were just at, the 478 7802 is going to be deleted for 2025. Just so you know. I'm working on turning a 2024 CPT book into a 2025, and that's one of the codes that I drew a line through to get rid of for 2025. All right, 732s. Sorry, I don't know why I said 7. I'm getting dyslexic. 432. Oh. Y'all, my son's has not been home all week, so I'm already kind of spooked with him gone, you know. He was in Oregon all week, and last night I parked his car that I'd borrowed in the driveway facing our garage door instead of rear backing it into the driveway and plugging it up to our charger that we have, because we have solar panels, so we put in one of those car chargers so we can just charge our car at home, and it doesn't cost us anything to run our electric car. So, but I didn't use any electricity, so I just front parked it in our driveway, which is very rare. We normally always back them up in our driveway. Anyway, I've got Halloween decorations on my garage door, and I didn't think about that, but last night about 1:30 in the morning, as I'm trying to go to bed and go to sleep, the car flashes its light. It's like somebody's walking near the car and disturbing it, you know, and I noticed that it was just going off like that, and it went off for about 20 minutes. So I turned on all the outside lights around our house, our property, and everything, and opened the garage door, shut the garage door, and was trying to spook off whatever coyote or whatever was out there. But I got so spooked because my Waze camera that I also have outside said it captured gunshots and people talking. And so that spooked me, and then I was like wide awake then. And then before I knew it, it was 4 a.m. and I was like, okay, I got to get up and get the kids ready for school at 6, so there's no point for me to go to sleep by now. So I ended up not going to sleep at all last night. But turns to find out that the Tesla, I got in it this morning, and it had captured 169 events because I had a witch on my garage door that it thought was a human that was too close to the car, and it thought that there was a human. I'm like, oh my gosh. All this advanced technology, and you can't tell that there is a Halloween decoration in front of you, that you don't need to say that there's somebody there. And why the cameras thought there was a gunshot, I'm assuming, is because I raised the garage door. And you know how the garage doors make a lot of banging noise when they open up and roll backwards? So I don't know. I'm just so silly. I scared myself into thinking that somebody was out there, and there's no one. No one around. No one at all. So I have not slept since, what day? Saturday night. So yeah, I'm like shocked. I'm still coherent right now. All right, 43200. I texted my oldest last night, or this morning, while he's driving home from Oregon, and he sent me a meme that says, what did it say? And this, my friends, is my mother. And it was somebody shaking their head. Oh, I sent him back one of those Peanuts memes that's got the cloud over Charlie Brown, because it's always raining and he can't play baseball. All right, our 43200 is a scope. What body part are we under? We're under esophagus for A, and for probably D2. What about B and C? 432 35, it's a different procedure, and so is R43. So our headers, which are going to be the black headers, are going to make the most difference in these two. So answer A and D, look for their black headers. It's the name of the procedure. And those two things are what you're going to look for. We did do the bigger of the two words, so you know you're going to keep B and C. A and D are the smaller header, and we did the bigger procedure. So we're going to keep B and C. Now, what did we do? Would it require 2 CPT codes, or would it require 1 code? What is more likely the answer if you're doing an AAPC exam? You could pick B and move on with your day. Don't overthink these questions. Don't micromanage them. If I get, the process of looking at those headers gets you down to 2 answers, and the 2 answers is simply, do I build 2 codes or do I build 1? 99% of the time, the correct answer is always going to be 1 code. They're going to try to push you into thinking you need that 35. What's going on in 35? 35 has, and the 43. Oh yeah, they're just trying to make sure you understand that everything that's inside 35 is also inside your child code, which is 43. So you did the scope, including brushing and washing, which is biopsies, and then you also injected the varices. So yep, you did the injection. And you also did the scope. And they're just checking to make sure that you understand that you don't code the mama with the child code. That they're, everything that mama is, which is the 235 code, is already inside your child code. That's all. Hey Pandit, good to see you. Have I put everybody to sleep with my boring stories? Alright, we've got the 95s versus the 96s. You guys know what your differences are on these, right? If you've been with me long enough. If your second and third digit is a 94, then that was a natural delivery. If it's a 95, then it's the first time they've ever had a C-section, right? If it's a 96, it's a combo code where, yeah, they've had a prior C-section, but we're coming in today. We're going to try natural. If we can't do it, then we'll do another C-section. So what was your outcome? We do have a repeat cesarean. Now our 9/6s that they picked on this one might be unique. Let's see. 596. Which ones did they pick? Alright, what did we do? Did we do pre-op? Did we do all of the... We did do all of the antepartum, and we're going to do all the post-op care. So we know it cannot be did our tubal ligation. What do you guys think? I know. I have to turn the car around as to not scare you. I know, right? So silly. You know, you're not right when your kids aren't home, you know, so. I don't know. They've been gone for a week, so I wasn't thinking. That darn witch on my driveway garage door had the car thinking all night long there was somebody walking close to it. So silly. We are doing repeat cesarean. We did all of the prenatal care. And we're going to do all of the post-op care. "15" is just a post-op care, but no prenatal care. It would say none of this. So it cannot be 15, no matter what, because that does not include all the prenatal care. 22 only does not include the prenatal care either. The only two answers that include prenatal care are 10 and 18. Delivery after a cesarean. Don't forget, in those coding tips on page 453, if you're in the 2024 book, there's one tiny little exception to this. Remember, I said that they had to attempt a natural delivery, right? But then we ended up doing a C-section. That's when we do our 18 code, or our 96. We do the 95 if they only scheduled a repeat cesarean without the attempt of the natural delivery. So the 96 is a combo code. You have to do, the patient has to have had a previous C-section, right? But we're going to attempt a natural delivery today. The outcome might end up being another C-section, but this patient scenario that we have here does not have the expectation of trying a natural delivery. It's just a scheduled repeat cesarean. So down at the bottom of your coding tips on this page, the last sentence says, to report an elective cesarean delivery, report your 59510, 14, or 15. So that's why this one is just the 59510. Even though it is a repeat C-section. It's only because she did not attempt the natural delivery for this delivery. She just went straight in for another C-section. And that's your main difference between your 10 and your 18. You know it cannot be the 22 or the 15 because they do not include all the prenatal care. Those codes don't. the 10 and the 18 do. And her having a repeat cesarean, you might think it's going to be your 96, but it's not, because she did not attempt a natural delivery. You got to have that if you're going to do your 96. Good job, guys. All right. Order of coding for an injury with an HIV. An example of a symptomatic HIV patient that has an initial visit for a sprained left ankle and is pregnant. She comes into the ER for her ankle. She was walking down the street, missed a step, sprained her left ankle, comes to the ER, did not fall on the baby or anything. There's no issues there. What would be her primary diagnosis for her ER visit today? What would be secondary and what would be last? Is catastrophe in here? Did she find out from her instructor if she has more attempts? Indeed, C is the answer. Good job. Which bone may develop in a tendon? None of the above, a long bone, irregular bone, or sesamoid bone. You've seen that one before, go-kart. Indeed. It is sesamoid bone. Good job. Humerus is an example of what type of bone? Long bone, short bone, irregular bone, or flat bone? Yes, it is sesamoid bone. It is A. In the musculoskeletal section, also in your ICD-10 book, your ICD-10 book will have a lot of bone information in it. When you go to the diagnosing those fractures, bone areas, the AAPC version of the ICD-10 book has a listing of all the different bone types. Long bone. What about this vocabulary term? Where are we at? What are we dealing with? The answer to this one is inside your ICD-10 book. Everybody got cornea? We are at A again is the answer. This also defines all of them. Where is this one located at? Are we between the lungs, between the heart, between the phalanges, or between the intestines? Indeed. Quick Wit. Like that name. Good job. Between the lungs, perfect. What is a characteristic of the disorder dystonia? Motion, swallowing, speech, muscles. Not that one. Perfect. Good job. D is correct. Muscles. Fracture of this one always causes a bunch of discord. Good job. Indeed. C, pelvis. This one is on the exam. Absolutely. One of the things you might see on your certification exam tomorrow when you take it. This one, phalanges, is on there. What's the blue word? The CY. You guys know what the word I'm talking about. It's when you turn blue. That one's on the exam now. The nail bed L word, LUN something, is sometimes on the exam. This one, the metastatum, often on the exam. Remember, tomorrow no one gets a consultation code. Everybody's an admit or a new patient. That is super helpful. Everybody got this one? Yes, there you go. Those are those words. This one's A. No consultation codes. Yep. No matter how much they try to force you and make you think of it. Remember that Medi-Cal is a state-run health plan. Medicare is a federal-run healthcare system. If they ask you a question about NCCI, look for the CPT code that has the number 1 written beside it. That'll be your answer. If they ask you the wordy question, the answer's going to say pass-through modifier. Know how to insert an IUD and remove an IUD. What's the answer? I think the answer was on our Sunday's workshop, or not workshop, but live lesson that I did yesterday. I had the question in that live lesson yesterday, so the replay is available. The intersex, changing from male to female or female to male, know the differences between those two CPT codes. Don't assume what the answer is. Go look and see what the CPT code descriptor says. The sweat test for, what's that lung disease? It's genetic. Cystic fibrosis. The lab test code for the sweat test. And then none of your drug screens are timed at all. Don't times those. Times 2, whatever. Don't do that. If it's a drug screen in Lab and Path, it is not times. In Lab and Path, every page of your Lab and tab book, the top of the book, every page of your Lab and Path section in the top of the book, the top of the page, has a different header listed in the top of the page, which is super helpful. I wish the whole book was done this way. If you're doing microbiology, it'll say it up there at the top. If you're doing immunology, then it'll say it at the top. If you're doing a chemistry test, it'll say it at the top of the page. Clear those headers with every available answer on that page. Am I doing pathology? Then I should be on a page that says pathology. If I'm doing a consultation, then the answer should be on a page that the header says consultation. It's up above all the codes, and it's written next to the code range of the codes available on that page. If I'm doing a drug essay, then it'll say essay on the top of the page. So, super cool. You can get a 100 in Lab and Path when you're doing that section if you look at the top of the page and simply make sure your answer is under a page header that matches with what you're doing in that question. Super helpful just to notice those. Had several people get 100% on Lab and Path. They had my notes, but mostly it's just clearing that big main header up there. Another C? Indeed, another C. Perfect. What about this one? We'll do one more and I'm done for tonight. I gotta go. Again, tomorrow is my oldest birthday, and then Wednesday is Travis's last football game of the season, and then Thursday is Halloween. So I will be back on Friday to do 2 more hours, probably at the same time as today, and then we'll do some more on Sunday because Saturday I have to go to Vegas to fix some car parts. We've got issues with 2 cars that need to be put in, but I'm not sure if we're going to get both of them done, but hopefully. Would I be more likely to do 1 or 2 codes? Then look for your similarities. Out of the 2 that are similar, what is the cheapest one? Pick your answer and move on to the next question. You technically don't have to even look at 1 word of the question. If you follow my looking for similarities, right? These 3 are similar. Would I do 2 codes or would I do 1? Helps you eliminate that one too, right? Then, which one is the cheapest? Pick that and move on to the next question. If you overthink these questions, trying to prove yourself as a good medical coder, you're just going to get them wrong. Just relax. Follow the little processes that I have in place. Don't overthink these. Look for your similarities. What would more likely be your answer? And then pick the cheapest one or the one that is the smallest number, just looking at them numerically, right? You'll be right 80% to 90% of the time anyway. So just pick that answer and move on. That's a pass. All you need is 70 or above. Super helpful to just do it a little easier than stressing out and micromanaging these questions, because you'll just get confused because you're totally under stress on this exam. So best of luck tomorrow. You got to come back and let me know how you did on Friday. For sure, I'm going to be dying wanting to know. Email me, medicalcodingbyjen@gmail.com. Let me know how you do on your exam tomorrow. Let me know if there's anything you didn't know was going to be on there that you wish you'd heard about. But hopefully you've got everything that you know, the differences between autograft and an allograft. The gender assignment surgery, the penile prosthetic. You know the CPT code for implanting a fake one of those things. We did a lot on the modifiers today. Good. The differences between NOS and NEC. The difference between a ureter and a urethra, the difference between nephrons and neurons, overdosing, underdosing, phalanges, Warthan's tumor, end-stage renal disease or ERDS. It's on the back cover of the CPT book. There's a full list of acronyms back there. Don't forget, you do have some acronyms around page 600 also in your CPT book. All adverse reactions, the 5th digit in the ICD-10 code will be a number 5. Just look for that answer and pick it and move on to the next question. 114 in integumentary means benign. 116 means it was cancer. If you remove skin, something that is cancer, and you remove multiple of them on one patient for one day, let's say they have 3 cancerous moles that you removed. How many CPT codes are you going to have? They could all be on the arm, but if you remove 3 cancerous moles from a patient, you're going to have 3 separate codes. A lot of times with those excisions of the squamous carcinoma, all you do is count your measurements. If they have one thing they measured, and then another thing they measured, and then one more thing that they measured, you got to bill for all 3 of those because it's cancer. So it's going to have 3 CPT codes. Your answer, there'll be one answer with 1 code, there'll be one answer with 2 codes, there'll be one answer with 3 codes, and then one answer with 4 codes. You can quickly pick out your answer if you just know that all cancers, when you're removing them, they get their own separate code per excision. Easy peasy. It's different than when it's a laceration that you're sewing up. You know, you add those together. You add all the links to your arms are all added together in some crazy nightmare thing that you have to code. But the easiest ones I like to do are the cancer ones, because if you remove 3 things, you got 3 CPT codes. Easy peasy. Trying to think of anything else, but I think that's good. I think that's enough. I hope that's super helpful for tomorrow. Thank you, Go-Kart. Thank you so much, Lashy. Let me know how you do tomorrow. Email me tomorrow. Keep me informed. I'm all, you're working Friday? Okay, well, just email me tomorrow and let me know how it goes. Best wishes. Get your good night of sleep tonight. Don't stress too much. Whatever your sweet spot is, if it's 5 hours, 6 hours, or 8, go get it. Go on and lay out your clothes for tonight that you're going to wear tomorrow, even if you're doing it in your pajamas tomorrow. Don't forget to have some peppermint gum or peppermints to use during your exam. Super helpful. Peppermint lotion, peppermint tea on your desk, whatever. Peppermint works. And best of luck. Best wishes. Going in person. Awesome, 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 awesome. Go on and put your books in the car. Don't forget your membership ID number tomorrow and your driver's license. And go on and put your books in the car. That way you don't have to worry about them. In the morning, the less thinking that you have to do, the more brain power you'll have left over for your exam tomorrow. We only got a limited amount, so you don't want to get up and do anything in the morning other than to get dressed and go. And just don't worry, you've got everything already thought out and you did all your thinking tonight. Then you're going to sleep, recharge your brain, and then just go to the exam. Go on and get the gas in the car, all that stuff tonight before you do anything else. Yep. All right. Best wishes. Love you guys. I'm so proud of you guys. And I will see you guys on Friday. Is there an easy way to do the repairs on the excisions? Yes. Look for your similarities. And most of the time, the answers are really easy because most of the time you're not having to add. Ooh, what is this? This is my, this is my study guide for integumentary and musculoskeletal. So that probably won't help. Let's see. INT. That's the study guide. Let's see about this one. So right here you're doing, hold on, let me switch it for you guys. Where's Word? And we're going to this one. So, ooh. So, right away, you can eliminate B and C because they start off with tiny codes, right? They're tiny. They're 12002, and then they have a bigger code after it. What's the number one rule in CPT? You're going to code a bigger code first and then a smaller code second, because you're always going to code your bigger procedure first, right? And then your little procedures come second. So just looking at these available answers, I know I can get rid of B and C. Looking at these two, the two answers that start off with the code that are the most similar is A and D, because they're only two numbers apart, the 12032 and the 12034. There's always going to be just two answers that are super close. There's only one little difference, and they want to know if you know the difference between those two. A and D are the closest. So I know my answer is just between those two. And what's my difference between the 12032 and the 34? We just go to those two CPT codes. 1, 2032 is intermediate. 34 is intermediate, but it's a size difference. Anything less than 7.6 goes here, A. Anything bigger than 7.6 goes here. What did we have? We have a 5 and a 5. Both on the legs or arms. You know, legs and arms, you add those together, so we're already at 10. So, you know, your answer is D. Super easy. Don't overthink these. Look for your similarities. And then what's your difference? Also, you wouldn't code a 32 with a 32. We're not going to have, I mean, if you have 2 lacerations on the trunk area and they're both between a 2.6 and a 7.5, you wouldn't code them separately because they're both in the same body part. You'd have to add those two together. This is for 2 separate human beings. You'd never code those 2 codes together, so that's just a coding irregularity anyway. So, anyway. Don't sit here and try to add all this nightmare shit, all together. Don't do that. The questions are a lot easier than that. A lot easier. Right here is just cancer or not cancer. Well, basal cell is right there. So you know you're a 116 right off the bat. Would I be a 52 or would I be a 13? 52 is probably intermediate or complex, intermediate. And then this one is a simple. If you're doing anything cancer related, I don't know. I doubt we'd bill a simple with a cancer thing anyway, so everything's got to be intermediate with cancer, right? And look, they got deep layer right here, so that's not simple. That's not a simple closure. That's got to be A is your answer. Super fast to do these. Integumentary is super easy. If you just don't micromanage them. Don't just, there's more Mohs. Yep. You know you're going to have these lesions to be destroyed. That question is in the practice ones. We got 5, and then we also have, so you got 2 different codes. Yeah. So you know your answer's B with this one. Anyway. The integumentari's not bad. Not bad. Those are anesthesia. Those are, yeah. But that's all I got on this page. And then we did coding, so I could do copy these questions and put them on my website. Lord, y'all, I have to write all this gibberish just to get one question up on my website. It is a lovely nightmare. But anyway, just try to look for your similarities, then just your simple differences between those codes. Yeah. Hopefully that helps. But I gotta run. I gotta go get Travis, and we gotta go get Halloween costume. James just decided to be something with a team of girls, and now he's got to go find this particular costume. Good Lord. And that's like 30 minutes away to even try to find one of these Halloween stores. So I got to go do that too. But I love you guys. I will see you guys on Friday. But email me if you take your exam between now and then and let me know how it goes. I hope this was helpful. See you guys Friday.